Welcome to Biz Wire. We lead off today with analysis from a senior policy advisor that if the agricultural modernization process is able to sustain the country's economic development, China will likely become a high-income country in 10 years. Zheng Xinli, vice chairman of the China Center for International Economic Exchanges, a government think tank, said that by the end of 2022, the average per capita GDP is expected to rise to $12,000 from last year's $6,000. Last year, China recorded a GDP valued at $8.13 trillion, up 7.8% year on year. Meanwhile, the National Bureau of Statistics said that the population expanded to 1.35 billion. NBS data said that the average per capita income was about $5,600 in 2011, which rose from nearly $4,300 in 2010. In 2008, the World Bank released new standards stating that countries should have an average per capita income above around $12,000 to be part of the high-income group of countries, while $3,800 is the minimum level for upper-middle-income countries. Zheng said that agricultural modernization is the key driving force for China to escape the middle-income trap. The middle-income trap, a concept first brought up by the World Bank in 2006, refers to the economic growth challenges faced by countries at the middle income level, usually because of unbalanced industrial structures and lack of policy innovation. Zheng says that as a consequence of China's agricultural modernization process, more rural workers will be transferred into urban areas, which means that the labor force will shift from agriculture to the industrial and service sectors. Research by Zheng's think tank showed that in 2012, the output of the agricultural industry was about 10% of the total GDP, while workers in the sector accounted for 36% of the national labor force, showing how low productivity farming is, and that's the main reason for the broad income gap between rural and urban residents. The Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and the State Council of China's cabinet released a document on January 31st pledging to accelerate agricultural modernization by establishing large family farms and improving intensive production. Zhang Yongjun, Deputy Director of the Economic Research Department of the China Center for International Economic Exchanges, said that the successful establishment of rural workers in cities is key to solving the middle-income trap. Zhang said that policies should be improved to include migrant rural workers in urban social security systems and to provide them with employment opportunities. Zhang also advocates that promoting agricultural modernization should be given as much attention as urbanization and industrialization. Zheng Xinli said that the development of large modern farms and increased purchases of mechanical equipment require more capital, and one of the most urgent things is to lower the barriers for investments into the agricultural industry. Zhong Liang, deputy head of the International Finance Research Institute of the Bank of China, said that the agricultural modernization process, together with urbanization, will sustain stable growth of about 8% in China during the next 10 years. China is currently facing a period of economic structural adjustment as it grapples with how to reduce the income gap between the rich and poor, as the disposable income in 2010 for urban residents was over 3 times that of rural per capita net income. There have been many suggestions, such as using the profits from state-owned enterprises to finance and raise the overall level of China's social security system. Zhang Moanan, a researcher also from the Economic Forecasting Department of China's State Information Center, said China's state finance should transfer more funds into education and healthcare to establish a long-term base to raise per capita incomes. In addition, Zhang said she believes that reform measures should be taken to break the existing practice of unequal pay for equal work because of state monopolies, so that small and medium enterprises and state-owned enterprises compete from the same starting line. Gao Huiqing said that the first priority for narrowing the income gap lies in strengthening the building of a legal system. Gao also says the country should pursue more open and transparent government operations, including more transparency in the property records of officials. All of these proposals are on the table this year for Xi Jinping and his new government, which has talked about the need for comprehensive reforms. But the Communist Party is not the monolithic body that many think it is, and therefore there are a lot of vested interests inside the system that are opposed to change.